Good afternoon, class 10. So today we will start with chapter 8, current electricity. Okay. So obviously we'll start with 8A first. So our first topic is the concept of charge. Now we have already done these things previously in class 9, current electricity. So just recap a few things which we have already learned. How is charge denoted? Suppose you have an atom. What do we know? That atom is always electrically neutral. But if it has got, say the atom A has got 5 positive charge and 6 negative charge, that means it has got excess of electrons. It's not electrically neutral. And another atom has got, say, 5 negative charge and 6 positive charge. Then can we say they are electrically neutral? No. What is the charge possessed by A now? Negative. A is negatively charged and B is positively charged because it has got deficit of electrons. Less number of electrons and it has got more number of electrons, isn't it? So there comes the concepts of positively charged body, negatively charged body and neutral body. Okay. Now, what is the unit of charge? We have learned this also. SI unit is Coulomb. Okay. Now, suppose you have, in the previous classes you have seen that when you suppose you comb your hair for a lot of times and then you hold the comb in front of bits of paper, they get attracted to it, to the comb. Why is this so? Because while you're combing your hair, a lot of times the electrons from your hair gets transferred to the comb. Now if you hold the comb in front of the bits of paper, they get attracted to the comb. So in this case, is there any current flowing? No. But there is also a story of charges. So this type of charges are static charges. That means stationary charges which reside on the surface of a substance. Which type of substance will produce this will exhibit this static charges phenomena? The substances which are insulators. Because if you have charges in the conductors, then what will happen? Conductors allow the flow of charges through it. So at that time, charges will be flowing from one part of the conductor to another part. The moving charges constitute the current electricity and the static charges constitute the static charge will constitute static electricity and the charges in motion, moving charges, will constitute current electricity or simply current. So current is nothing but it's actually the motion of it's due to the motion of the charges. So in which case will we observe the current electricity? Therefore, in the conductors, but the insulators, as they don't allow the charges to flow through them, so we won't be able to find this phenomena. So there comes the concept of current. So how can I define current then? We can define current as a rate of flow of charges. We have already learned this also. Mathematically, current is equal to Q by T, rate of flow of charge. Charges flowing through a cross section normal to the direction of motion of the charges, say the charges are flowing in this direction, the charges, the rate of flow of charge flowing through a cross section normal means perpendicular to the direction of motion is nothing but the current. Okay. So what is the SI unit of current then? Ampere. SI unit of current is ampere. It's named after the name of the famous French physicist. So that's why its symbol will be capital A. So how can I define 1 ampere then? 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb per second. So 1 coulomb charge flowing in 1 second is 1 ampere current. Okay. Now if you have the SI units, obviously you will have sub multiples of ampere, microampere, milliampere, like this. Similarly, you have millicoulomb, microcoulomb, like this. Okay. Relations remaining same. That means milliampere to ampere, 10 to the power minus 3. Okay. Now, next is if you have, say, a cross section normal to the flow of charges, n number of electrons are flowing. N number of electrons, each carrying charge E. What is the total charge? N into E. So what is the current then? Q by T. So N E by T. This also I think we have done in 9. Okay. Now current is a scalar quantity. So by the direction of current, we means current is flowing. That means we will understand it is the direction opposite to the direction of flow of electrons. The conventional direction of current, remember, conventional direction of current opposite to the direction of flow of electrons. Okay, so current is a scalar quantity. Okay. Now, if you have, say, a point A, how can I define potential at a point A? If suppose I have to, first of all, do you remember the electrostatic force of attraction? If you have two positive charges, if you bring a positive charge near a positive charge, then what will happen? Force of repulsion. If you bring a positive charge near a negative charge, force of attraction. So that means if I try to bring a positive charge near a negative charge, I am doing some work, because I am doing some work again. Say this is a positive charge, first case. Some work is done in bringing this positive charge near the positive charge by overcoming the electrostatic force of repulsion. And also see, there is a force involved and there is a displacement involved. Isn't it? I am moving a charge from one point to another point. A displacement is involved and a force is involved. Force of attraction or repulsion. So we have got force, we have got displacement. So we can say that some work is being done. Okay? Because force is equal to, work done is equal to force into displacement. So whenever in physics there is a force and there is a displacement, we can say work has been done. Now, how can I define potential at a point? Potential at a point is defined as a work done in bringing a positive test charge. Okay? Test charge means we take a small charge of small known quantity and we test it with the help of that charge. What is the potential at that point? Okay? So, potential at a point A is defined as a work done in bringing a positive test charge from a zero potential point to this point. What is a zero potential point? At which place is the potential zero? Where can it be zero? Where the work done will be zero. That means you just imagine electrostatic force, isn't it a non-contact force, right? Because it will act even if the two charges are not in direct contact. What have we learned for the non-contact forces? It is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. If this is infinity, okay, R, that means the electrostatic force of attraction or repulsion at infinite distance, it is zero. That means you don't know the formula of potential at a certain distance. It has got some, V has got an expression related to this, which in this class you don't have. So that means ultimately you get at infinity, you have zero potential. Okay. So we define potential at a point as the work done in bringing a positive test charge from infinity to the point. Okay. Now, this is the definition that at the point A, potential at a point A is the work done in bringing a positive test charge from infinity to this point where we want to measure the potential. If here you have a positive charge, then the work will be done by you. Work done, it will be done by you because you are actually doing some work in overcoming the force of repulsion, positive repulsion. So you are doing some work in bringing the test charge from infinity to this point. Okay? If you have a positive charge nearby this point. But, so then in this case, we say it is A will have, I am writing here, A will have positive potential. Because work done is positive. Okay? Now, if suppose you have a negative charge nearby the point where you want to measure the potential, then the work done in bringing the positive test charge from infinity to this point is actually negative. Why? Because the work is done by this negative charge itself. Because it's a force of attraction, it will automatically try to bring the charge towards it. Isn't it? So, if this is positive, then this case will be negative potential. Okay? And this is about the positive potential and negative potential. And how do we mathematically measure potential at a point? V is equal to W by Q. Work done per unit charge in bringing the positive test charge from infinity to the point where we want to measure the potential. So V is equal to W by Q. So what will be the SI unit of potential? Volt. Alexandro Volta. It's named after the scientist's name. That's why in abbreviation it is capital V. Volt is the SI unit. So 1 volt is 1 joule per coulomb. So when 1 joule of work is done in bringing a positive test charge from infinity to a point, when 1 joule of work is done in bringing 1 coulomb of positive test charge from infinity to a point, then potential at that point is 1 volt. Okay? I hope the concept about positive potential, negative potential is clear. Positive potential, when we are bringing a positive test charge, both cases we are bringing test charge to a point, but positive potential at the point A where you have a nearby positive charge, because in this case in between them there is a force of repulsion. So you are doing the work against the force of repulsion in bringing the test charge from infinity to the point A. But if you have negative charge nearby the point A where you want to calculate the potential, then the work is done by the negative charge itself. Why? Because it will attract the positive charge towards it. So it has got the negative potential. Okay. And where do we have the zero potential? At infinity. Because work done right. So if R is infinity, then obviously F will become 0. F becomes 0, this becomes 0 and V becomes 0. So at infinity, zero potential. That's why we use in the definition of potential the concepts about bringing a positive test charge from infinity to that point. Now then, potential is also a scalar quantity. This also we have learned, potential is a scalar quantity. Now, what about if you have a point A and a point B? Here you have got potential VA and here VB. How will the charges and under what condition will the charge flow from say A to B? If there is any difference, then only write. Otherwise, if both are at same potential, say this is also at 10 volt, this is also at 10 volt, will any charge flow? No. Charges only flows when there is a potential difference between 2 points. So, we can define the potential difference as potential difference between 2 points of a conductor, you may say, or of a wire, whatever it is. Potential difference between 2 points is defined as the work done per unit charge in bringing the charge from one end of the conductor to another end of the conductor. From bringing the charge from, say I want to know the potential difference between A and B. Work done in bringing work done per unit charge in bringing the charge from one end of, say from point A to point B. It's the potential difference between A and B. If you are asked potential difference between two ends of a conductor, then potential difference between two ends of a conductor will be the work done per unit charge to bring the charge from one end of a conductor to another end. Is the potential difference same? It's just the difference between in potential between the 2 points, due to which the current actually flows. What is the SI unit of potential difference? Same, volt. Same. So 1 volt potential difference, how can you define? 1 volt potential difference is defined as the work done 1 joule per 1 coulomb. So, if 1 joule of work is done in, suppose you have got the question, what is the meaning of this sentence? Potential difference, 1 volt potential difference between two ends of a conductor. That means 1 joule of work is done in bringing 1 coulomb of charge from one end of a conductor to another end. Then the potential difference is said to be 1 volt. Okay? So potential difference between two ends of a conductor is said to be 1 volt if 1 joule of work is done in bringing 1 coulomb charge from one end to another end. Simple. Scalar quantity. Now, how is it determining the flow of current? Suppose you have got two tanks. Okay. okay, you have two tanks. Here you have water level up to this, and here you have water level, and this is connected. Where will the water move from? From the higher level of the water to the lower level, obviously. This will be the flow of water. This is analogous to the flow of current. Current flows from, the flow of current will be from higher potential, same, to low potential. So, potential, therefore, we need to have the potential difference between 2 points, otherwise current won't flow. Okay, we have done few examples in class 9 also, where you had A, B, 10 volt, 5 volt, and this say plus 5 coulomb and say minus 2 coulomb. Where will the, what is the direction of flow of electron, what is the direction of flow of current? Okay. So,